All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And for those who are watching this after it's gone live, yes, Endgame. It is something else. It is an incredible movie. Probably not for the reasons you think. This movie was insanely just. It's hard to explain. It's funny when you think about doing a review, you usually can do a review on any movie just by sheer talking about or talking around what would normally be spoilers. This movie is the first movie I could ever think of that you really can't say much about it. Um, what I will say is that it is 3 hours. It doesn't feel like 3 hours. I think some people will have an issue with the early part of the movie, not because it's boring. I didn't find it boring. It really depends how invested you are in certain characters. If you're really invested, then it's going to give you a lot of good character development and, you know, take you on a journey with certain characters that maybe you were a little bit more thirsty for in other movies, not just Infinity War. um, I will say outright for the people out there who are not too crazy about Captain Marvel and are not too fond of the whole SJW movement, whether you believe it's there or not, um, they did not ruin the movie with her. I will say that much. She has appropriate screen time. Her actions are appropriate, and what she does is fine. I don't possibly think it could bother anybody. And I'm not a big fan of Brie Larson. I thought Captain Marvel was okay, and I thought she did perfectly fine in this movie. Um, this movie really is. I mean, I am exhausted. It is a roller coaster of a ride. It is. Yeah, there's no spoilers here, guys. Please do not put spoilers in the comment section. Um, in the chat. Otherwise, I'll have to kind of boot you. I don't want to ruin it for anybody because this movie. I will say if you've read the comic, now the comic is very different from what they've done on screen, but the premise is there. So if you read the comic, you have a decent idea of what's going to happen, but the execution in the movie is much different than the comic. Um, I mean, this movie is just. Let me just move the mic here so I can see you guys in chat. Um, this movie is emotionally draining. Even if you're not a person that tends to falter to tear jerking, you're gonna feel something. You're gonna feel. I mean, people in the theater were like, it was an emotional roller coaster because one minute you're a little sad, next minute you're concerned, another minute you're cheering like you're at a fucking championship game for the NBA or you're at the Super Bowl. Like I was expecting people to start doing waves and shit like that. Um, Rob a track from Godzilla King. Yeah, I don't want to talk about Godzilla right now. I really can't. I've heard the tracks. I heard the full tracks. I've heard both, or at least one of them full, and I heard the other one. Pretty cool. And as far as I understand, we're gonna get that soundtrack May 24th. Okay, so that's enough about Godzilla. We'll talk about Godzilla tomorrow, and then we're gonna do a full spoiler Avengers Endgame talk on Saturday. I figure by then enough people might have gone to see the movie by then. Um, so yeah. Yeah, man. I took out Thanos. That's right. That's how it ends. I pop in and I'm like, yo, end this shit. It was an amazing movie. It definitely was a good completion to what they've been working on so hard. I got to give it to the Russos, man. These guys really delivered on multiple movies leading up to this one. And I got to say, we never expect superhero movies to win awards and stuff like that. But if nothing else, I really do feel like the Russo brothers deserve some sort of award just for what they've done. If you don't want to give the movie any kind of award to Endgame or any superhero movie because you feel the genre is not entitled, I mean, I don't agree, but that's fine. That's how it works. But these guys, man, these two men have worked so hard on what? Let me see. Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, and then Endgame. I mean, that's at least four. I'm not sure if they did one more. I think those are the only four they've done. But boy, did they do it, man! They really did it. I mean, they really brought it together. The movie is you know, again, if you're invested in even several of these characters, you'll be fine for the first 2 hours. I think the first 2 hours are going to be a coin toss for people. I see this movie being criticized 2 years from now. I think 2 years from now, people are going to talk shit about this movie because right now everybody's going on a high. Everybody is like so excited and they want to see this movie. I see it being one of those movies, kind of like Avengers. Like everybody was so in on Avengers when it came out, and then it wasn't until like 2 or 3 years later people were like, "Oh, it wasn't that great," and this and that. I can see that happening to this movie, not because it's actually bad, but because you really have to be into these characters to really enjoy the first 2 hours. I mean, I'm a huge Captain America fan, and I gotta say, for me, this movie was great. You know, I mean, when you're talking about the journey for a lot of heroes, whatever people missed about Captain America and Infinity War, they got it in this movie. He was definitely probably the shining star. Of course, Tony was a shining star, not as much as as Infinity War, but of course he had his moments here. Surprisingly, I'm not hearing this spoken about in a lot of reviews that I've seen so far, but there's one shining moment that I didn't expect at all. But when it happened, it felt so right. And I'm hoping people will know what I'm talking about because I have spoken up for this character for quite some time, for the last several years. I'm not talking about Captain America, but there's one character that I have been talking up for so many years, and I feel like the Russos heard me because they gave this character a fucking epic moment, and I wasn't even expecting it. You know, going into the movie, I kind of expected Cap because he was not in the movie that much in the first one, and, you know, I figured Tony would get his time and other characters. This one I did not, and when this character had their moment, you see here, I'm not specifying genders because I don't want to give it away, but when if you've paid attention to who I've been talking about the last couple of years, when it comes to characters that are not represented like they have been in the comic, you'll know exactly who I'm talking about. That character had probably just as much a shining moment as Cap did. And I would say Cap had the biggest moment in the movie, as did Tony and this other character. There's really not else I can say. You know, the characters are down and out in the beginning of the movie, and there's a lot of time to themselves to reflect. Things are just very grim. Things are very grim, and there's a little spark of hope that the characters decide to they go all in on that, and it's a lot for them. They go through a lot of trial and tribulation to pull off the mission that they're on, and then just as they're successful, I mean, it gets crazy. And then it just goes from there. That's about as much as I can say without giving anything away. What's going on? What's going on? Nuts for Kaiju. So that's really all I can say about the movie. But I will say that you will be emotionally drained after this movie. Like, with the amount of feels that they deliver, with the amount of cheering that you're going to be doing, and how good you're going to feel, and then going from feeling good to feeling sad, it's emotionally draining. And I'm not saying you're going to sit there crying your eyes out. I definitely shedded some tears. I just couldn't help myself. Because when you've been watching these characters for 10 years and to see that all that go and this being the payoff, and it was a very good payoff, you can't but help to feel something. You know, I'm not saying people are going to shed tears and bawl their eyes out. Depends what kind of person you are. But you're gonna feel something. You're gonna walk out of there. It's gonna be very bittersweet. You know, you'll have an emotion in you that you'll feel very happy about how things turned out, but at the same time, you're gonna be very sad, and you're even gonna be sad about the happy moments. I mean, it's just twisted how it's worked out. Yeah, there's really nothing else to say about the movie without giving away too much. All I will say is that there's certain characters, like I said, they have their moment. Thanos is just as formidable in this movie than he was in Endgame, even without the gauntlet. And I think there's a good reason for that. If you really sit back and pay attention to what happened in Infinity War versus what you're going to see in this movie, you'll come to the conclusion that the Thanos we saw in Infinity War, by the time he met up with Quill and Iron Man and Spider-Man and Drax and Doctor Strange, that Thanos, even though he has the Infinity Gauntlet, is very tired. He's very, like, after all the chasing, all the fighting, everything he had to do to get the gauntlet and get the gems or the stones as they are in the movie. Even with the gauntlet, if you notice, when he's not able to close his fist in Infinity War, he struggles. He struggles against everybody. You know, it's not like he was whooping their ass. Whenever he couldn't close his fist, they were kicking the shit out of him. The Thanos in this movie is very fresh. He's very fresh and he's ready to fight. The Thanos in Infinity War fought if he had to. His main mission was getting the stones, and if he had to, and he obviously wanted to avoid fights where he could. But in this movie, this is a fresh Thanos that's looking for a fight, and he kicks some ass. Even without the glove, this motherfucker kicks some serious ass. But, you know, our heroes are ready this time, and it's a different fight. It's really, really good. Jelly French, I would say he's definitely not in this movie as much as Infinity War, not by a long shot. But what I will say is you get the amount of Thanos that you need to get. You know, you got to remember, this is the hero's journey. This is the hero's journey movie. You know, we already got Thanos' journey, and he completed his journey. This movie is the hero's journey. So, you know, if you're expecting to see Thanos in all 3 hours, you're not going to get that. I felt the amount of Thanos we got was sufficient for the story. And I'll tell you right now, I thought Thanos in this movie kicked more ass than he did in Infinity War. In terms of straight fighting the heroes, the fucking guy was ruthless, man. I mean, he was brutal. I mean, it was amazing to see him fight the way he did, considering he didn't have the glove. I mean, he threw down. So don't be too surprised when you see it. You would think, oh, well, he doesn't have the glove, it shouldn't be that hard. Nah, man, he fucking wrecks shit. Yeah, it's not a weak Thanos, I'll tell you that much right now. Yeah, and you know, obviously there's the lighthearted moments as well, which it's so weird. They're so good at that. Like, I found it amazing when you look at how grim things are, how dark they are, some of the events that occur, for them to still deliver the lighthearted moments, even within all this darkness, is nothing short of incredible. Because you're sitting there, you're watching this movie, you're taking everything in, you're obviously concerned in certain parts. Certain parts you're worried, you don't know what's going to happen. It doesn't look like things are going to go their way, and then something happens that's just kind of funny, and you're sitting there laughing. That's why I'm saying it's like it's more of an emotional roller coaster than anything else. But it's a good ride. You know, you're concerned, you're worried, you're sad, you're happy, you're laughing, you're crying. It's insane how they delivered all that. Really, really. Dude, that's not a big spoiler. Trust me. Go see the movie, okay? Him not having the gauntlet is not a big spoiler, okay? It's not at all. I mean, you saw the end of Infinity War. The gauntlet was destroyed. There was no one that ever said that it wasn't destroyed. It's destroyed at the end of the movie, Infinity War. So, you know, it's safe to say nobody has the gauntlet. Yeah, believe me, I'm not telling you anything that's a spoiler. Trust me. I'm not giving anything away that he doesn't. If anything, you know, when you really think about it, it would be stupid for him to have the gauntlet. Like, you can't, you've already lost him once with the gauntlet. If you give him the gauntlet again, why are you making this movie? It's just common sense, dude. So don't, trust me. Go see the movie. I'm not spoiling anything. Rest assured, I can tell you. There's so many other things I could tell you in a matter of 2 minutes that would pretty much ruin the whole movie. And I have avoided it completely. So don't worry. Yeah, that's exactly. I know thank you, Jim. Somebody thought that I was giving it away by saying that that he didn't have the gauntlet. That's not a spoiler, man. The gauntlet is destroyed at the end of the movie. And There is no end credit scene. Nope. There's really no need to be. Like, there's no need to be. There's no need for an end credit scene. Like, you. This is the end of that whole Infinity Saga. Anything, I think they said anything after the next Spider-Man movie, or that the next Spider-Man movie is the beginning, is either the end of the Infinity Saga. I forgot. I think they changed it so that they said Spider-Man would be the end of the Infinity Saga, the next Spider-Man movie this year. Originally, it was supposed to be Endgame, and then Spider-Man was supposed to be the beginning of the next saga. But they're saying that Spider-Man is the end of this saga, so we'll see. Hot Toys showed him with a new one, and well, they're wrong. You're gonna. I mean, I don't go by toys, man. I mean, if that's what it is with a toy, because with toys, they're always gonna redo things. They're like Thanos is known for having a gauntlet, so if they're making a toy out of him, even for the second movie, they're gonna give him the gauntlet. Is there a Stan Lee cameo? You'll have to see the movie. Um, yeah, I don't want to give that away because there kind of is, but there kind of isn't. Yeah, you'll know if you know, depending on when you see the movie, you'll know for sure. Was the Captain Marvel character redeemed? I don't think redeemed is the right word to use. What I said earlier in the stream, if you weren't here before, was that what she got in this movie, and mind you, I'm not a Brie Larson fan. I don't like the whole SJW shit. Even though I thought Captain Marvel was pretty good, my biggest fear was that they would lean too heavily on her. She got the appropriate screen time, and her moments were very appropriate. And I'll say that. That's that. Yeah, I mean, you know, King of the Monsters, I got plenty of time to be excited for that. I've been really excited for this movie this week. You know, I do enough Godzilla videos. I've talked enough about Godzilla, and I've seen the trailer and the TV spot enough times that I'm not worried about being excited for that movie. But I got 4, almost 5 weeks for that movie to come. This movie right now has my full attention. I do want to see it again. Um, so, is Valkyrie from Ragnarok in this movie? Um, you'll find out where Valkyrie's from. Ragnarok. Is she from Ragnarok? No, Ragnarok was the end of Asgard, so I would say no, she's not. Oh, is Valkyrie from Ragnarok? Thor Ragnarok in the movie? Well, yeah, but that's common knowledge. Yeah, I mean they showed her poster, so everybody knew. At least I was under the impression that everybody knew Valkyrie was in this movie. I'm not trying to be rude, but they are $300 figures that they show the toy maker, the character from the movie. I'm just saying I thought he was going to make a new one, but I guess not. Yeah, I'm not I'm not saying you're rude, but I literally just saw the movie, dude. Like, I'm not lying to you. The dude doesn't have the gauntlet. So, you know what I mean? Like, I don't. I mean, if you want me to rip it up, if you want me to just break it down for you, I'll send you a message. But Thanos does not have the gauntlet in this movie. It is destroyed. The gauntlet is gone. There is no Thanos with the gauntlet. The reason that figure costs $300 is because it's a figure of Thanos with the gauntlet. I mean, he's known to have it. That, of course, they're going to draw him with it. They're not going to draw him without the gauntlet. But that doesn't mean that's canon to the movie. He does not have the gauntlet in the movie for all 3 hours. Yep. Does Far From Home take place before or after Infinity War? But again, that's common knowledge. There's nothing in this movie that has anything to do with Spider-Man's next movie. But it's already been mentioned that Far From Home takes place after Endgame. I don't know, Mr. A. I mean, if you want to consider that a spoiler for you personally, that's fine. I'm under the impression, based on a lot of people talking, that considering how the glove looked at the end of Infinity War, it was pretty obvious it was destroyed. So, I mean, I'm sorry if you feel spoiled, but I'm not going to take responsibility for something that everybody knew. You know what I'm saying? I mean, when you see the movie, you're going to realize, yeah, he didn't spoil anything. Based on all the shit that takes place in the movie, if you're just worried about whether or not Thanos has the gauntlet, believe me, you're not going to care about that shit once you see the movie, okay? You're not going to care. What's going on, Joe? Is Galactus in the movie? Yes, he's the one that kills Thanos. He eats him up at the end on Titan. Thanos thinks he gets away. He goes to Titan, and Galactus is like already consuming Titan. And then Thanos gets stuck, and he gets eaten by Galactus. End of the movie. Wolverine. Yeah, Wolverine showed up midway through the movie. Yeah. The Captain America and Iron Man went to recruit him. And when they approached him, he told them to fuck off. And then they left. Yeah, Deadpool did steal the show. They set up Deadpool versus Thanos right as they both got to Titan before Galactus ate Thanos. I'm trying to say that the Hot Toy figures are canon high-def figures of the MCU. You should look them up. You might think they're pretty cool. Oh, I'm sure they're beautiful, but they're not canon because he doesn't have... If you're saying... Okay. If you're saying that the toy they made is canon to this movie, Endgame, and that because they're canon to this movie, you were under the assumption that Thanos would have the glove, then that just proves that they're not canon because he does not have the glove. You should never look at a toy as canon. Toys are meant to be sold and make a profit. You're going to make more money with Thanos with the Infinity Glove than you are with Thanos without the Infinity Glove. I don't know how else to explain it, man. I'm not saying the toys aren't dope. I'm sure they are. But then no toy, you should never look at any toy to be canon. Ever. Ever. Because then you're setting yourself an expectation that may not be delivered. And now as you found out, it's not. So now you're upset. But you're not upset because you got spoiled. You're upset because you thought something was going to happen that it didn't. I'm not trying to sound rude. I'm just being factual with you. That's all. No, Rodan did not steal the show in this movie. Squirrel Girl did. Purple Homer Simpson or Purple Shrek? Both. Anyway, guys, the best thing I can tell you is go see the movie. I'm not going to keep this video up too much longer because there's already people trying to drop little hints and little spoilers. I had to take one away just a second ago. But go see the movie. It is a fun ride. Bring some Kleenex, or if not, bring, a blankie, Maybe it's the first one. Marvel said it was canon. All right, dude, I don't know what to tell you, man, okay? Like, we're just going back and forth. Either way, no matter what Marvel said or what you heard, the toy is not canon, and you're wrong. I saw the movie. I'm telling you what I saw. I don't know how else to explain it. Like, I have the evidence. You're going on speculation. I don't know what else to tell you. I'm sure it's a great toy, but it's common sense. You're going to sell more Thanos dolls with the Infinity Gauntlet than you are going to sell Thanos dolls without it. It's just simple math, dude. Purple Rick from Pawn Stars. Yeah, it's a great movie. Guys, go check it out. I don't want to keep the stream going on any longer because I'm exhausted, but go see the movie. It is a fantastic ride. Saturday stream, we're going to do the Avengers spoiler talk. I'm going to do a spoiler review for the channel tomorrow, and then tomorrow I'm going to stream. I don't know what the fuck we're going to stream. I have no idea. I'm not going to make it an Avengers spoiler stream tomorrow night. So don't bring it because a lot of people are going to go see tomorrow night. Tomorrow night's stream is probably going to be short. It's probably going to be small, but I just want to remain consistent with my schedule. So do you prefer Infinity War or Endgame? I'm going to say Infinity War simply because I love Thanos. And that is Thanos' movie. That doesn't mean this movie's not good, because I also love Captain America, and your boy kicks some serious fucking ass in this movie. But I can't even say that, because there's another character I really love that has a big moment in this movie, and it's like, honestly, I just put them together, and man, you just got one fantastic, almost 6-hour ride of a movie. I can't really pick one over the other. But usually, movies that don't end well and movies that have big villains tend to be more popular. I mean, look at Empire Strikes Back. You know what I mean? So, but I love them both. I mean, this movie's just insane, man. It is insane. So, yeah, 6 hours if you combine the two movies. I think the first, like, Infinity War is like 2 hours and like what, 2.5 hours, 2 hours 45 minutes. It's not quite 3 hours. I'm just rounding up, really. So, but anyway, guys, that's it, man. Go see it. Go see it. Come back Saturday night. We'll talk about it. And shit, man, just be ready. If you haven't seen it yet, man, be ready, because it is going to kick your ass in many ways. So, all right, guys, have a good night. I'll see you all tomorrow night and Saturday night, and then we'll go from there. All right, peace. And I can't find my exit. There it is.